So now we have this frame covered with the cloth, and we're going to take and add feathers to it. So one technique is to use split feathers, and I've got these nice white spikes that I'm going to use, and I'm going to strip them. So I'm going to take the feather at the top and just separate it like that and pull it apart. So here we have half of the feather. This would have been a long time ago added to an arrow or whatever as fletching for an arrow, but I'm going to make a bunch of these and tie them into bundles. So we have a few feathers, and this is just an example of how we tie a small bundle. I'm taking all the ends of the feathers and putting them together. Then I'm going to use some dental floss. I like to use dental floss because it's strong and easy to manage. I'm going to leave a tail about that long, 8 inches, 6-8 inches. I'm going to start tying it and wrap this bundle on the end where I've been holding it. So tying bundles in that manner, and then leaving these 2 strings long, because that is what we're going to use to sew the bundles onto the frame. And we would do the same for all different types of feathers. Like if we use whole, small feathers, whole like that, we can do it the same way. So then all we do is we take our trusty needle, and we're going to thread one end of the dental floss into the needle, and we're going to decide where we want to put it. So let's say we're going to start by putting these bundles, and we'll say that, let's determine where the front and back is. Here's where it's sewn together. So I'm gonna have this where it's sewn together be the back part of the headdress, and I'm gonna start with my first feather bundle kind of down a little ways, because I'm gonna add other bundles up on top of it to fill it in. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the cloth like so, pull it off the needle, and then using the extra, the other side, I'm going to tie it right to the cloth. Now, another trick is I'm going to take the bundle and put it back over this and tie it again. So we're really kind of double tying that bundle to the cloth. And then regardless of how big bundles we use or whatever, by starting low and working our way to the top, we'll be able to fill in the headdress.
Yep.
I've gone around and added some colorful feathers, some natural colored feathers, some stripped. These are just bundles of regular whole feathers. And you know, it's up to each individual. This gives you an idea of the technique of how a Seneca Gastoa is made. Certainly I'll end up adding more feathers to make it bushier, make it more full. One of the things, as I said, that's important is adding this feather on top. So what I'm going to do is, I have this feather that I'm going to put on here, and it's going to split because it's just too skinny to fit on there. But you get the idea of how it goes. Now what I will do is take and put some fluffs or some other feathers on the bottom and attach it to this main top feather. But you can see that it does have the ability to spin like that, and it stays on there. It's staying on there pretty good. But we can fancy this up by dressing it up and adding things to it. You can see the feather that's on my Gastoa, for instance. I took and I added these split colored feathers to the base of it, and I've got this white tape on here to keep this quill from splitting, and it keeps it nice. I have some nice quill work added to my feather, my top feather, and you can see I have the same exact type of spindle on my Gastoa as I put on this one. Of course, the only difference between this one and mine is the number of feathers that I have on it. So as I continue to add more and more feathers to this one, my grandson's Gastoa will be very full. So that is a lesson on putting together a traditional Seneca Gastoa.